Hi everyone, I'm Miranda, your adult and community librarian, and this week in Medicine Hat, we're celebrating do-it-yourself projects. So I thought a really easy and fun one we could make together would be bath bombs. They're pretty simple depending on the version you're making. The one we're making today is simple, and there is one ingredient that's a little bit difficult to find. So in order to make bath bombs, you need citric acid. It's what makes it bubble and foam when it hits the water. There's a couple of alternatives you can use for that. So what I'm using today, of all things, is this Fruit Fresh fruit and vegetable protector. So it has citric acid in it, and when I've used it in the past, it seems to have worked. And then another alternative I saw online is that you can actually use lemon juice. It causes a fizzy reaction. It's not as bubbly, but it also seems to work if you just kind of spritz it in. So the other ingredients that you're gonna need in order to make this really simplified version of a bath bomb is salt. So you can use any kind of salt that you want. Sea salt, table salt. What I'm using today is sea salt. You need oil. So I have canola oil and I have coconut oil. I'm gonna use the coconut oil today, but any oil will do. You also need cornstarch and baking soda. And then if you want it to be colored, you can use a little bit of food coloring in order to do that. And then finally, you want it to smell good. So there's a lot of places you can buy different kinds of scents. I'm just gonna use vanilla extract because I like the smell of vanilla, and that's gonna work just fine. And to actually mold these bath bombs when we're done mixing it together, we're gonna use a muffin tin, because a lot of people have muffin tins, and that way you don't have to go out and buy like a bath bomb mold. So it's not gonna quite look like a circular one. It's just gonna look like a tiny little almost cupcake kind of thing, but it works just as well. And so just make sure you have cupcake cups as well. And then I guess we're gonna get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is throw your baking soda into the bowl. So you're gonna want about 1 cup of baking soda. So you're just gonna pop that in there. And then you're going to want to add whatever oil you chose. I'm using coconut oil today. For the oil, you're gonna want about 2 tablespoons. So that's 1 tablespoon. Let me just grab another one here. So the oil is mostly just to bath bombs are supposed to be relaxing and soothing. That's what the oil is for, which is why I prefer coconut oil, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You don't have that. And then what you're gonna do is just take a spoon and you're gonna mix those 2 ingredients together. Now the oil is gonna clump, and that's totally fine. It's supposed to do that, but just mix it until it's in there well. You might need to use more oil, depending on the consistency you want. We're gonna go with this for now. We might add more later. Mix it together, it's gonna become clumpy. I actually think I might add a little bit more oil. We'll add a little bit of canola oil this time. Just gonna mix that all together. Just with a spoon is fine. Stir those together really well. Oh gosh, it's sticking to the spoon. We're good though. It's all good. It's all good. Relaxing activity. And then you're gonna add the rest of your dry ingredients. So we're gonna start with the salt. So you can put however much salt you would like in it. I'm not gonna put that much, just because I don't feel like we need that much. Well, maybe I'll put quite a bit. But it's mostly, this one's more of a however you're feeling kind of thing. And then we're gonna add the citric acid. So for the citric acid, you're gonna need about 1/2 cup. I'm using a form of citric acid to add to my ingredients. If you choose instead to use something like lemon juice, what you're gonna wanna do is put it in a spray bottle and actually lightly spray it into your mixture, because if you don't do that, it'll start bubbling, because it's gonna cause the reaction that you want for the bath bomb. If you just pour it in, it's gonna start to bubble, and then you're gonna lose the chance to do that when you throw it in the water. And then the final dry ingredient that you're gonna wanna throw in is about 3/4 cup of cornstarch. Just throw that on top there. All right. And then you're going to mix it until it's well combined. This is also the point where if you want to use any herbs, like if you want to use lavender because it's a relaxing thing, or something like roses for smell, or just for the fun of it, this is where you would add that. And all you're gonna do is, with a whisk, mix all those ingredients together. You can use a whisk, you can use your hands, however you feel like mixing it together. Just make sure that it's all mixed up. I know they're all the same color, all these ingredients, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's well mixed, but like, let's just go with it. And so the next ingredient you're actually gonna need, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, is water. So you're not gonna add too much water, and what you're gonna wanna do is add the water slowly to your mixture. And you'll see why in a second. This is also where you can start adding in color. So food dye works a little bit weird. It kind of makes it spotty. So you can buy more colors at like Michael's. They sell them specifically for bath bombs. I'm just gonna use food dye because that's what I have on hand. Plenty of that. And you're gonna see it's not gonna like evenly spread through the mixture. You're gonna need a lot of food dye. You may also hear some fizzing at this point. That's because you're adding a liquid to your ingredients, which is totally fine. Oh, maybe the red doesn't work. Probably add more food dye in a second. It's starting to turn a bit red. It kind of looks like Canada Day. Now you're gonna add water. You have to add, like I said before, the water really slowly. So you're only gonna want about 2 teaspoons. You can use more if needed. I'll probably end up using more. But when you put it in, it's gonna fizz. And just be ready for it to fizz. It's totally normal. You can kind of see it over there. It's just bubbling a little bit. That's normal because that's what a bath bomb is supposed to do when it hits the water, right? So what we're trying to do is mix it and add water before you lose all that like fizzing. So add it in and then mix it right away. Oh, there we go. Now the color is mixing it a little bit more. And I also found when I did this the first time with the coloring, the color of the bath bombs changed while it sat overnight. So if it doesn't look super colorful when you're making it like this, don't worry, it'll probably darken overnight. We're kind of getting a little bit of a pink. Let's add a little bit more because we can. Who's to stop us? This is a do-it-yourself project. I think I'll add a little bit more water again. Mix it until you're comfortable with it. Add more color if you want. I'm content with this color. It's like a white and pink situation going on. Very Valentine's-y. Once you've added all this stuff together, in order to check if the bath bomb stuff is gonna hold, you can just use a spoon for this. What you're gonna wanna do is just take it and just press it together. And if it's sticking together like that, like it's just holding its shape, it's a little bit harder. It's not like loosely falling when you, then you're probably good to go. Just press it to the side. It should form like a smooth kind of surface of the materials together. And if you've done that, you're pretty much almost done. The one thing that you can choose to do or not is add some kind of smell. So again, at Michael's you can get different smells. I'm gonna use vanilla extract because that's what I have on hand. And also I love the smell of vanilla. So I'm not gonna use too much of it. I'll probably just use like half a teaspoon. It's really up to you though, how much you feel like putting in. Okay, we're doing more than half a teaspoon. That's okay. That is also gonna fizz. So you're gonna wanna mix it right away. Oh, it's making it darker too. Neat. Oh, that smells so good. But again, you can get like a rose scented one. I think they had some citrus smells when I went to Michael's to check it out. There are so many different kinds. Okay, so once you're done all of these steps, your mixture should be ready. It should, if you take it in your hand and you clump it together, it should hold its shape for the most part. Like that. That is perfectly fine. And it's okay if it's kind of crumbly at this point because you're actually gonna make it sit overnight. And then once it's sat overnight, then it's gonna harden. And then you'll have a bath bomb. You're gonna lay some cups in your tin. And so I'm actually gonna use, see if I can get all this in. There we go. I'm actually just gonna use my spoon to drop them in. So you're gonna wanna fill these up. This color is so much better than the other ones I made, guys. The ones I made before, which I'll show you now, I used blue food dye and they came out really super green and like clumpy and stuff. There you go. I really am not a fan of the green. When you take it out, it kind of looks like this. It's a little bit nicer, that shape there when they're upside down. But I do not like that green shape. I think this red one is gonna be so much better when it hardens. So you're gonna just fill the tin. You can fill them as high as you want. It's not like it's gonna expand or anything. It might expand a little bit actually, my bad. All right, so once it's in the mold, what you're gonna do basically is just let it dry. So I recommend 24 hours, but you can do it for 48 hours. And it's just gonna harden it until it's like those green ones that I showed you. So this one here, you can see it's a lot harder. Like it's still kind of crumbly, but it's hard. So that when you drop it into some sort of water, it'll start to like spread and foam and all kinds of things. So when they are dry though, you can put them, if you put them in an airtight container, you can use them about up to 2 weeks after you've made them. And there you go, you have a really simple and effective bath bomb. Well, that was a little bit of a messy project, but that's okay. If you go online right now, we have a book list of a bunch of different DIY projects that you can try. And just to remind you, we have this book, which is more complicated bath bombs, and the pictures in here are just fantastic. Look at those. So you can make those at home by yourself. And that is making a really simple bath bomb. All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and you have yourself a great day.